I'm going to show you how to create this basic table in Fusion using these measurements. So let's imagine you're working for a client or you're doing an assignment at uni. You've designed a basic table. I know this isn't great, but it's just an example. Then how can we turn our ideas into 3D models, which we can then perhaps prototype or send to some companies to see if it can be made or something like that. So we're going to create this. The first thing we need to do is create a couple of sketches, because this can't be done in one single sketch. It has to be done in multiple steps. So you've got to imagine in Fusion that each part is created using a sketch that you've done on a piece of paper, and then you're then pulling that sketch out and giving it some thickness in real life. That's the way you've got to think about Fusion. So the first thing we're going to do is create the tabletop. So we know it's 700 millimeters from the floor and it's 850 millimeters wide. So if we start in the middle, we'll turn our origin on, and we know it's 700 millimeters high, so we need to create a sketch plane that's 700 millimeters higher than this one. So we'll hit this button here, offset plane, select that, and we'll type in 700, zoom out a bit. Oh, sometimes they're quite small. So if we zoom in, right click, create sketch. Now we're looking face down. So if we hit C on the keyboard for circle, I'll go up here, start at the center, and now we know it was 850 in diameter. Hit enter, now we've got a circle. Finish the sketch, zoom out a bit, and just move it around. So now we need to turn that into a 3D object. So we'll hit E on the keyboard, or you can hit extrude up here. And I think it was 35, yeah, 35 millimeters. So we'll type in 35. So now we've got the tabletop for now. Now if we go on the underside, we can you can create a sketch on any flat face. So you can't create a sketch on this face because it's curved. So what you would do in that instance is create a sketch on this face and then revolve it around the circle. But for now we're going to create a sketch underneath the table, and this is where we're going to create the legs. So we're going to use this green line as our guide. So if we zoom in a little bit and hit C on the keyboard, I'll go up here, create a circle, and I think it was 85. Leg thickness at the top here is 85 mil, yeah. Oh, Control Z. So create a circle, 85 millimeters. Now to save time, it's not really applicable here, but to save time when you've got more complex models, you can use something called the circular pattern tool. So what that allows you to do is select a sketch, this one there, and then select the center point, the point from which it's going to rotate around. Then you can define how many times this is repeated within this circle. So if you wanted 8, that saves you a lot of time trying to work out what the angle between that and that would be, and then moving this around again 8 times. It just saves a lot of time. So for now we're just going to create 3 and OK. Now we've got them, we've got the top of the table. So now we need to know, create a sketch on the bottom. Sometimes it doesn't work. If it doesn't snap looking face down, you can always just hit the bottom on the cube up here. So now we know at the bottom of the leg here, the thickness at the bottom is 35 millimeters. So what we'll do is we'll hit C on the keyboard, and then if you hover over one of the white dot, which is the center point of the other circles, we can snap this circle to that center point. So that means that the leg will be nice and straight, and I'll show you. The leg won't be, off-centered somehow, like that. So we'll hit there, and then type in 35 millimeters. Now we can use that pattern tool again. Select the profile, select the center point, and it's set to 3 anyway. Now you can see this is create a pattern that matches the other circles. Hit OK, and then finish the sketch. I've done it wrong, doing it on the wrong plane. I'll do that again. Right click, create a sketch, there we are. Let's move that to the bottom. Go through that again. But you can see how creating a sketch on the wrong plane would not make the model work, because there's nothing to extrude to because both sketches are on the same plane. So now, if that circle that I mentioned before doesn't pop up, what you can do is you can hit P on the keyboard. Now this is going to project whatever sketch was on that table. It's going to project that image down onto this plane. So we'll click there, and then click there. So what that is going to allow us to do, anything that's purple is projected, is create that click on that center point that we needed. So we'll type in 35 again. So now we've got our circle at the bottom of the leg. Hit the pattern tool, select the center point. We know that's 3, that's fine. Finish the sketch. And now if we move the camera, you can see that we've got 2 different sketches, and we'll ignore these purple ones for now. But if we use the loft tool that we saw in the other video, we're going to loft this down. You have to zoom in. We want to select that smaller circle. You can see that we've created a tapered leg now, so that is exactly what we want. Now there's 2 ways you can create multiple legs. The first way is using that circular pattern tool again to create the pattern for the other legs, or you can just simply select profile 1, that one. Oh, it's not letting me do it. Yeah, it's not letting me do it. Right, I'll loft it. Fusion can be quite temperamental. If you select the very center point, you can see that it creates a taper down to a point, which is not what we want. So we'll get rid of profile 2. Make sure you select the whole circle. We'll create a new body. So what that means is we've got 2 separate bodies. If you go here, body 1, that's the tabletop, body 2 is the leg. Now because Fusion was being temperamental, we might have to use that pattern tool. So if we click the circular pattern tool, select the bodies, because we want to select the leg body, select the axis, and this green line is the center axis from the table, because we know that's right because we created the tabletop based around this center point. So we'll select the green axis and it's set to 3. Now that's where they're going to appear, and okay. So now we've got the table. Now, as I mentioned in the other video, you should add a fillet to things to make it more realistic. So if we hit F on the keyboard, or just go up here, if you can't see it, it'll be in here. Then we want to select the edge. You can't fillet faces, you can fillet edges. So if we want to choose 1, that's quite small, maybe 10 millimeters, okay. And then fillet the bottom one. 10, yeah, that's about right. So there we have it. Now we've got the table finished. Now what you can do if you want to, you should get into the habit of renaming your bodies. So we'll just rename this table top, leg 1, leg 2, leg 3. It's just because when you have models with, say, 50 parts in them, if they're all called body 59 or 58, it'll get really confusing. So it's a good idea to start doing that early on. But what you can do if you wanted to is combine these to create one body. So you select all the models, just shift and click there, and then click on this tool, combine. So the target body, actually I'll do it from scratch. The target body is this, so we want to attach these to this. Then the tool bodies are the legs, so we want to attach the legs to the table. Join, that's fine. Okay, so now you can see, if I turn it off, we've only got one body compared to what we did before. Now what that allows you to do is fillet these edges, because these are attached. Select 5. It allows you to fillet them, whereas if we go back and then I try and fillet this leg, to get a nice gradient between the two objects, if I type in 5 again, you can see that what it's actually done, if I turn this off, is filleted the top of the leg, and that's not what we want in this example. So you need to combine them first before you fillet them. But you can use the combine tool to reduce the amount of bodies you got if you've created multiple in different areas. It just saves time and effort later on, but that depends on what kind of model you're making. But you get the gist. It's to create something like this, you start with multiple sketches. So we started with the tabletop, then we added the top of the leg, and we added another sketch of the legs at the bottom, and then lofted. So that's one way you can do it. That's it.